The Mendon-Honeoye Falls-Lima Sentinel welcomes you to this edition of the Mayors and Supervisors Weekly Update, brought to you by...
Each week, our community makes history. Each week, you make history. And each week, there's only one source to turn to for the first take on history. You know what that is? Subscribe to the Sentinel right now to discover the history being made in your own backyard.
The Mendon-Honeoye Falls-Lima Sentinel. More than just your news, it's your history.
Hey, welcome everyone to this week's abbreviated version of the Mayors and Supervisors Update. I don't know about you, but we had a power outage and that's really hampering things for this week, but we'll have a more complete report in the paper from the Mayors and Supervisors, but we'll go with the people that we have right now. So again, I'm Chris Caroso of the Mendon-Honeoye Falls-Lima Sentinel, and you're watching the Mayors and Supervisors Update. So Eileen, let's start off with you. How are things going in Scottsville?
We're doing okay. We have power in Scottsville, and just want to say we hope everyone in the village is enjoying the summer and taking advantage of this weather with, a few rainy days here, which I guess helps keep the grass green. Just a reminder from comments about Canawagas Park last week, the village continues working with the Greenway Trails and the law enforcement regarding the concerns about activity in the park. Again, if you see any illegal activity or anything that causes concern, please call 911. This is the only way we can get these concerns on record and show the need for increased coverage in this area. So do not engage with the individuals, but please call 911. And I guess from some information we've been getting in the village, it's time to give a reminder about chickens in the village. So anyway, section 54-26, domesticated chickens of the village code, it states that domesticated chickens can be allowed in the village by special permit by the village board. The minimum parcel size to allow for domesticated chickens is 1/2 acre and shall be limited to single-family developments only, single-family dwellings. Property improved by 2-family or multifamily residents shall not be permitted to harbor chickens. So, to remind, you need 1/2 acre of land and a special permit granted by the board, the cost of which is $100. So otherwise, no chickens. For further information and guidelines, you can access the village code on the village website. Remember, it's section 54-26. We have 2 new members of the Rochester Street Historic Advisory Board, and they are Wayne Lyons and Randall Hess. We want to thank these residents for their willingness to serve on this important board. I just want to give a little information about the Rochester Street Historic Advisory Board. In 1973, Rochester Street was designated by the National Registry of Historic Places, and it was designated the Rochester Street Historic District. It consists of properties of number 2 through number 62 on this street. More than half of these houses date from the 1830s to the 1850s and are distinct examples of Greek Revival architecture. The Rochester Street Historic Advisory Board strives to maintain and protect the historical integrity of this area. They review proposals submitted to the Village Planning and Zoning Board pertaining to the exterior structures and renovation on these properties within this historic district. So recommendations by the advisory board are intended to preserve the Scottsville's historic and impressive history. Anyway, we just wanted to remind people that we do have this board. We have several boards that people can join. Please check our website and take a look at how you can also volunteer to be part of the community and help keep our keep Scottsville the lovely community it is. So that's it for us this week.
All right, thanks, Eileen. John, town of Mendon. I see that you're in an undisclosed location at this point. So,
Yeah, you caught me by surprise. We changed the time a little bit today and caught me by surprise. So thanks for reminding me, Chris, that we were meeting at a different time. But again, thanks for having me. Once again, I just want to mention how, now that things have opened up a little bit more and you can recognize your neighbor when that they don't have a mask on and you pass them in the grocery store, that more and more people are coming up to me and telling me how much they enjoy this, both the online version and the written version in the Sentinel every week. And not only do they read, for instance, if they're resident of Mendon, maybe they're reading about Mendon and Honeoye Falls, but they're also reading about our neighboring communities. So this is a great service that the Sentinel is providing for all of our communities. A couple of things, as I mentioned last week, the Mendon Carnival is on for September. That's the weekend after Labor Day. So it's a 2-day event this year. So hopefully everyone can take advantage of that opportunity for the carnival that's put on by the Mendon Fire Department. Also, we've had a little uptick in businesses. I know Mayor Milne wasn't able to get on today, but I know he and I have spoken on several occasions. We've seen some more business interests, both in the hamlet and in the village of Honeoye Falls for various businesses. And that's exciting because, as we all know, we lost a lot of businesses during this pandemic. Also, our Military Memorial Committee, this is the committee that was formed regarding the tragic helicopter crash that involved one of our residents from the town of Mendon. They met for their final time, and they will be submitting a report to the Mendon Town Board on Monday, August 9th. At that point, the board will consider everything that the committee came up with and make some decisions for what the appropriate response from the town is. From our building department, we do have a fair amount of outstanding permits, and I know our code enforcement officer is sending out some letters and making some phone calls to individuals. But just a reminder to folks that one of the main reason that we do have oversight in this department is for health and safety, so that we're sure that the electrical, the building, etc., is safe for everyone. So that he's following up with that. And as I have mentioned before, there is the what they call the ARPA funding that the town of Mendon will be receiving, about $655,000, which of course is nice. It comes from the federal government and it's goes through the state of New York. So the town board is considering its options. There are parameters that have been put on that funding by the federal government. And so we're looking at those parameters. I did a webinar this week on that. More and more information is coming down from the Treasury Department on the various uses that we can legally use this money for. So we're looking into what would best suit our entire community, and we'll be looking into that. I'm sure you'll hear more from me about that in the future. Again, thanks for having me, Chris.
all right, thank you, John, for
Our outage hopefully is short-lived.
hopefully I got work to do today.
That's
All
right.
Jerry, I know that you have a special announcement about Rush. What is that?
The special announcement about Rush that I'd like the entire area to understand and know is that Rush continues to be the best kept secret in Western New York.
Excellent.
We don't have the commerce that the other towns and villages have, but we don't mind a short escape from Rush to partake of those offerings and then come back to Rush, where we continue to be part of the best kept secret. Now, I I'm going to talk a little bit, or not a little bit, a lot about a involvement that I've come across recently. It's involving a Rochester Focus, a community organization urging others to help end the violence. I don't think anyone is surprised by the amount of violence that we are seeing and the spread of it. And I'm talking about violence as violence, not just one segment of it. For example, we had 2 cases of domestic violence in Rush last week. We've had homicides in the past in Rush in the past. We have some minor vandalism going on in Rush. And, I'm one who looks at it as it's not just a city problem anymore because it is spreading to other communities. And I attended a press conference on Wednesday and a community march last night that ended at Monroe Community College. And the supervisor of Brighton, Bill Bailey, of Henrietta, Steve Schultz, and myself, and some other notables were at the march last night, and it was quite sobering, I would say, because there were police officials there, there were some other officials there, but the problem that I see is we've got to take some kind of commitment to involvement to make sure that whatever can be done to stem the tide of this violence, we've got to do, or our safe little havens are no longer going to be safe little havens because we're going to be overrun, just like many city neighborhoods are. I know the homicide I spoke about that happened in Rush a few years ago, that was all gang related. It wasn't one neighbor shooting the other about chickens in their backyard. But it was gang related, and they came into Rush and did their duty and then left. I really don't want to see any more of that. I don't want to be involved in anything that would make Rush less than the best kept secret in Western New York. And I request and implore other leaders in our area to become involved. It's, I think, the right thing to do for this period in time because it's just terrible. It really is. And what I found out, you don't get all that's happening on the news. I don't know why, but you don't. And it's frightening and concerning. You know, an old guy like me does not really get concerned about too much, but this I am concerned about because I have kids in the community and I know a lot of people in the community, and we've just got to take whatever steps we can take to be part of the solution. So if anybody wants to know who to contact to become part of the solution, you can call me. I would be more than happy to put you in touch with a fellow by the name of Clay Harris, who is the organizer. He is the founder of Uniting and Healing Through Hope of Monroe County. And we are looking forward to an increase in the number of participants and hopefully having some new people join. They would be able to provide some new suggestions for how to deal with this pandemic. With that, I'll stop.
Okay. Thank you, Jerry. Anybody else have anything more to add? Otherwise, thank you again for being here today, and thank you all for watching. Remember, we're on every Sunday at 1 o'clock on our Facebook page and YouTube channel, and we will see you next week. Bye-bye for now.
Thank you.
Imagine yourself communicating with a difference. Pan-Dimensional Solutions helps you do this. Whether live spectator events, taped broadcasts, or real-time audience-engaging programs, you can benefit immediately from the tools Pan-Dimensional Solutions will share with you. Do you want to make a difference? Contact us at pandimensional.com.